Hello future filmmakers, my name is Kyle and welcome to Frame by Frame, a series dedicated to the craft of filmmaking. So check this out. This is Birdman, a very special movie. And no, not because Michael Keaton runs around in his underwear, but because it's a marvel of technical filmmaking. Why? Well, look at what you're watching. It's all one take. Impressive, huh? Well, guess what? There's no cut at the end of this sequence, or anywhere else in the movie. That's right, Birdman's covered in just one continuous shot. Now I know you're asking yourself, how the hell did they do that? Well, here's the short answer. They didn't. You see, Birdman's really comprised of numerous cuts. You just never see them. In fact, you probably just missed one. But how is that possible? Well, it's simple really. I mean, the principle behind the technique is nothing new. In fact, a movie made 67 years ago attempted the same feat. And yeah, Alfred Hitchcock directed it too. And what's even crazier, director Alejandro Iñárritu adopted concepts from that film to make Birdman. So let's pause this for a second. Great. Now hold on to your whitey tighties. It's time to travel back to 1948 to discover the secret behind continuous takes. Okay, so check it out. This is Alfred Hitchcock's 1948 film Rope. It was, in fact, Hitchcock's first color film, and arguably his most experimental. It concerns two college friends who murder a former classmate. Their motive? Well, to prove they can get away with it, because somehow that makes sense. Anyway, the pair hide the body in the apartment and throw a party after. Even better, they invite their old professor, played by Jimmy Stewart, to the soiree. And so begins the suspense. Will Jimmy smell the body over this disgusting food? Will these two egotistical nerds get an A for effort? And will this old woman ever shut up?
Don't forget to write. And mind your P's and Q's.
Nope. No, she never does. Ever. Now, Hitchcock wanted to shoot Rope in one continuous take, but the Technicolor 3-strip cameras he was using could only shoot 10 minutes of film at a time, meaning Hitchcock had to improvise. If he couldn't make a film without cuts, he'd do the next best thing. He'd hide them. And here's how.
Right here. What are you worrying about, Philip? After all.
And again. Hitchcock does this 5 times throughout the film. The other 5 edits are hard cuts, like this one. Now clearly Rope isn't seamless, as many film professors claim it to be, so if yours does, feel free to proclaim he or she is full of shit. But the idea is generally the same. You see, the technique's fairly simple. Obscure the screen to hide the cut. Now in Rope, Hitchcock only does it the one way. Push in until the screen's blacked out, cut, then pull out to reveal another take. But what does any of this have to do with Birdman? Well, everything really. You see, this technique of obscuring the frame, it's not just used in Birdman, it's relied upon. Not with plodding dolly pushes, of course, but in subtler ways. Let me show you.
Dude, you're wrong!
Alright, stop. Here's cut number 1. Hidden to the naked eye, obscured by VFX, but present either way, and I'll tell you why. From this angle to this one, there's a major change in exposure, one which would likely call for the operator to adjust the f-stop. Second, there's the tilt, and that, my friends, is the red flag. You see this motion blur? Perfect place to hide a cut. Why? Because the image is obscured. What you're seeing is blurred, unrecognizable, and what you can see is fairly uniform in both texture and color. So if you bury a cut here, nobody's gonna notice. And here's how you do it. This is shot 1.
Dude, you're wrong!
Run through the action, end on the tilt, cut. And here's shot 2, which starts with a tilt. Then the frame lands on Keaton's back, and the camera tracks with him from there. 2 shots that create the appearance of 1. But why do this? Well, if you didn't notice, there's a band in the crowd, not to mention extras. Coordinating all of them to pull off this shot would require a ton of prep, plus multiple takes. so a smart first AD wouldn't lump this action onto a sequence this complex. There's just too many moving parts, and Iñárritu didn't want to attract attention in Times Square. In fact, the band was used to distract onlookers from the production, so from here to here, that's not one take, no way. Now, once this madness ends, guess what follows? Another whip pan, and look, another background change. So you're starting to see a pattern? Well, I hope so, because you're not going to see anything else. What I mean is these cuts are seamless. Now that's partly because of technique, and partly because of VFX used to mask the edits. But if you know the trick, you can spot the method. And whip pans aren't the only obscurement Iñárritu uses. Sometimes he'll cut when the screen goes dark, as he does here. And to the human eye, everything is the same, which is the biggest illusion of all. So now you know the truth. Most continuous takes aren't continuous at all. And whether it's 1948 or 2015, the principle behind hiding cuts remains the same. You see, the key is to distract you, the viewer, in order to disguise edits. Now, filmmakers can do that with whip pans, objects moving through the foreground, or even obscuring the entire image, as we saw in Rope, with camera pushes like these. Either way, though, the result's the same. The image is obscured, and so is your focus, creating the illusion of simultaneous action. So is Birdman's design as revolutionary as the media stated? Not really. These techniques are almost a century old after all. But Birdman took this concept and gave it wings, perfecting it to such a degree that this movie doesn't just fly, it soars. So you guys are here because you like movies, which means you've probably got some pop culture savvy. And if you like pop culture, I highly recommend subscribing to Loot Crate. What is it? Well, it's a subscription service that delivers a loot crate like this one to your house every month. Inside is an assortment of gear, apparel, and collectibles. The theme changes every month, as do the items, but each crate contains a $40 value for less than $20 a month. So to get your loot crate, sign up at the URL on screen. Then enter the code FRAME, which will save you 10% on your subscription. Past crates have included items from movie franchises like Marvel and Star Wars. So listen to your inner film geek and sign up. Those cinematic collectibles are calling for you. More importantly, thank you guys for watching. If you want to check out more Frame by Frame, make sure to click the frame to the left. Or if you want to check out a film theory episode on how terrifyingly close we are to Skynet actually being a plausibility, click the frame to the right. And make sure to subscribe to this channel, Film Theory, for more awesome cinema-related content. And until next time, my name is Kyle, and this has been Frame by Frame.